The UN says some 376,000 people are currently facing famine conditions in 7 countries: Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Haiti, Nigeria, Somalia, and South Sudan.
This situation has not come as a surprise. It is a man-made crisis that has been swelling for years. We are now at the tipping point. Mr. President, hunger and conflict feed off each other. Conflict and insecurity remain key drivers of hunger and famine. Every one of the 7 countries where people faced famine-like conditions last year were affected by armed conflict or extreme levels of violence. 5 of those 7 countries, Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, South Sudan, and Yemen, are regularly on this Council's agenda.
Washington's top diplomat used the meeting to rally UN member states to tell Russia to stop using the Black Sea and Ukraine's grain as blackmail, and to stop treating the world's hungry people as leverage in its war of aggression with Ukraine.
We also very much appreciate Turkey and others working to reinstate the grain deal. Every member of this Council, every member of the United Nations should tell Moscow, enough. Enough using the Black Sea as blackmail. Enough treating the world's most vulnerable people as leverage. Enough of this unjustified, unconscionable war. Strengthening food security is essential to realizing the vision of the United Nations Charter, to save generations from the scourge of war and reaffirm the dignity and worth of every single human being.
Невероятно.
Russia pulled out of the Black Sea grain agreement in July, citing unmet demands to its own fertilizer exports and obstacles to its ability to access the international SWIFT payment system, while accusing Western nations of having a direct responsibility for the global food crisis.
It is clear to us that many, and in fact the most acute food crises, are directly or indirectly provoked by the actions of the US and their allies or the consequences of their long-term policies. For example, Afghanistan, which was mentioned by our UK colleague, is struggling to climb out of the abyss of hunger and poverty for over 20 years now because of the experiments carried out by the US-led coalition to democratize this deeply traditional country in a Western fashion. Despite the fact that our colleagues, the Western members of the Security Council, did not have the courage to honestly name the root causes of food and other crises in countries such as Iraq, Libya, and Syria, we all understand full well that they are caused by illegal interventions by Western states.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen.
The International Rescue Committee, which responds to the world's worst humanitarian crises, warned that as the world got richer, there were more famines, not less. The IRC President David Miliband went further, telling the Council that the last 50 years had seen the world get 4 times richer, while theatres of famine were also growing, rejecting notions that this was merely fate, arguing rather that this was a choice that can only be changed by action, in a world that doesn't lack ideas on which actions to take, but rather the will to enable them to happen, what Dr. Martin Luther King referred to as the deficit of human will. Sherman Brycebees, SABC News, New York.